Hello everyone, welcome to another video. It has been quite some time, I realised, between my last video that I've made and this one. I thought to catch you up on everything, it would be great to just sit down, get out all my sketchbooks that I've been working on since January and just look through them, and that way you can see what I've been up to. I can also bring up things that have been going on, and yeah, hopefully we can have a good catch up. You can enjoy this video and just take some time out. So get a cup of tea, coffee or favourite drink, and let's just sit down and have a good catch up. So I thought it'd be best to start at the beginning of the year, kind of where I left off my last video, where I was chatting about painting loose landscapes on location. If you haven't checked that one out, go and check it out. It's all about sketching on location and finding ways to sketch what you see quickly. So I'm going to find in my sketchbooks the next date. I've got two dates here, the 15th of January and the 25th of January. So that's where we'll begin. Let's just clear a little bit of space and just find all the relevant sketchbooks. I tend to work across a few sketchbooks at a time. I find it's just helpful because there are different formats, and it means that I'm a bit more, I can do things with a bit more versatility. So I've got lighthouses, and let's see, and a lighthouse here. So as you can see, my next theme in my sketchbook was lighthouses. I'll start with this one. So over the course of a few months over winter, we went over to Godrevy Lighthouse, which is this lighthouse here, and I took quite a few reference photos, but we also just sketched there as well and filmed bits of it. I also did draw on location. I do have a Substack newsletter and a Substack paid community where I share my process and play every month. So for the month of January, I thought that would be a great topic for us to look at. So I went to the Lizard Lighthouse and I sketched this little lighthouse on location, which I did quite early in the morning, and I limited myself to a very small colour palette. You can see it here. I used brush markers and a couple of pencils. So I think it was Derwent Drawing and Derwent Lightfast. I just wanted to see if I could capture the mood of the lighthouse. So I did it on a background that I'd already painted and then just drew on top. But from this little lighthouse, I then had quite a few different ideas then how we would do our process and play. And I wanted to do some close-ups, wanted to do some further away shots, different times of day, so when the light was less, and then just some more stylised versions with textures. If you want to watch that video, you can just hop over to my Substack and you sign up for a month. It's £6 a month and you can leave whenever you want. But once you sign up for one month, you can access all of the other videos and all the other things that we've been doing on there. And that's actually been really, really lovely to be able to do Substack and build that community. And I'll just show you this one as well in my bigger sketchbook. I think I did this actually during a Zoom meeting, just swatch and sketch, just getting together and sketching together. So this was again me thinking about how I would draw the lighthouse, and just gave me more ideas. And then this was something that I created. I've been really getting into collage and also making these tunnel books. This is about how many have I made? I did one before Christmas. I did one as a gift for Crixus, and I made this one, and I've made another one. But I love it because it just, for me, it just feels really exciting to explore a bit more of the 3 dimensions. And so I thought the lighthouse would be lovely to make into this kind of card. I would really like to make a little workshop on this, and I really do hope I can get around to doing it, because I just think it's such a lovely activity to do. I have tested it already with a couple of girls that I homeschool, and they really enjoyed making these cards. So I think I definitely do want to make it into a mini standalone workshop. I just think it would be so fun to do. Okay, so they were lighthouses. I then went out. This was another sketch that I did on location. And 21st of January, I was using my tinted charcoals and the Derwent tinted charcoals, and just a really muted colour palette, and then putting in a little bit of detail. This was at Perranufno, and I just loved the way this came together. If I remember, we were walking along the coastal path, and we were looking back, and this was the view that we saw. There are also some neo colours on here as well, but mostly it was from the tinted charcoal palette, with all the muted winter colours. But I love this ochre as well, this yellowish colour, just makes it quite warm. This was done also on that day. Very, very dark. I was using the water-soluble graphite, and I was trying to capture the really dark rock that we saw. So it was quite expressive, trying to work quickly. And then this was done, this water, I think I came back to this. It was done really quickly, and then I came back to it with a bit more acrylic gouache, just to make it a bit more substantial. So that was just an experiment. And there was one other that I did on that day, which was very, very simple, but I think it works. It's just really fun. I find it fun. There's a lot of space here. Usually I try and cover everything, but I was trying to leave my sketchbook a bit more open, not feeling like I had to cover everything. And there was this boat that was just travelling away from us, and I just did it very quickly because it was moving quite fast. Just very simply put it down, and then this side with the cliffs, looked at that outside edge, and then just popped on some brush strokes. The brush that I've been using recently in my sketching outdoors is this one from Derwent. It's got water in the barrel, and it's really thick. I think it's the thickest size that they do, but I love it. It's been really, really good for giving me more interesting brush marks, and I can cover my page quicker with them. Great for water, great for texture on the landscape. So yeah, really, really nice. This was a sketch that I did whilst I was recording my Explore and Draw podcast, which again is available for my Substack members. And I just go out on location and talk about what I'm seeing, talk about what I'm drawing. And this was at Ruin Major, the ruins at Ruin Major. I had hoped to sketch snowdrops. Last year about this time, I'd gone to Ruin Major Church, and there were loads and loads of snowdrops, and I thought, oh, maybe they'll be there again. They weren't out. Actually, they came later, and which I'm finding a lot of the flowers have been coming later. But even though they weren't there, I decided to then focus on the ruins instead, and used the charcoal again, the tinted charcoal from Derwent. And yeah, loved the colours that I could get. Again, quite muted, but really beautiful for stonework. And then came on with the new colours for the blue, and there's some brush markers and also some Derwent drawing pencils on top of that, just to define some of the areas. But yeah, it was a really lovely morning. It was very quiet. The light was bright, so it made these beautiful shadows. And yeah, if you're interested in listening to me creating, that's also on my Substack. Here's my setup, my stool. There's a stained glass window, my bag. That's the ruin. During this time as well, I was working on a commission for a self-published book, so illustration for a book called Wisdom for the Workplace from a Reluctant Gardener. I've just received the actual copy of the book in the post from Sarah, who is the author. And yeah, we worked on this throughout January. And you can see, I just wanted to show you, this was the background that I did in my sketchbook, which you can see here. And then these are all the elements that I painted and then positioned them using Photoshop. So I wanted to do it all by hand, and I didn't really want to, the style that Sarah wanted, she wanted it to be more analogue and just have a nice soft texture to it. So that's why I did it this way. A lot of my clients usually want vector-based, so that's on the computer. But I'm really wanting to do more analogue work, just because I just value, being able to create with your hands and create these textures and variations of colour. It just makes you feel more connected to the work. Sometimes with just using the computer or a screen, there's a little bit of disconnect. It might look great, and I'm not knocking anyone who does that. I mean, I still do that, and there are times when it's handy to do it, but I just wanted to bring in a bit more work that was done by hand. So yeah, it's lovely actually to see this, have a physical copy in person, and see the final result. I also worked on a map for her as well, which was on this page. I'll show you the full size as well. So this was the original, done in black ink with my fountain pen, and it's just a representation of her garden in Normandy. And again, this is a really fun way to work, mapping out all of the different areas that she talked to me about, and then putting it all together. If you want a copy of this book, you can actually buy it on Amazon now. She just gives practical wisdom for the workplace through using garden metaphors. So things that she's learnt from being out in the garden. She says that she's not a gardener in any way, but she's just found that there's been a lot of wisdom that she can get from working in the garden. So yeah, that's available on Amazon. I'll put the link in the description if you want to get your own copy of that. So that was quite a fun project to do. Down to the lettering as well. Oh yeah, these were just from a draw along that I did with my Substack on winter gardens. And we were just looking at a few different subjects: flowers, birds, some animals, little mammals, and just noticing things that are in nature at this time. This also is linked with that page as well. So this was my quick warm-up page that I like to do. Basically, these are about 40-second drawings of the images, and they just really help you loosen up and warm up. So you can see some of these. You should recognise what these are. And then these are more detailed. Before we move on to February, I also made another tunnel card, and this was based on Roon Major Church with the snowdrops in front. So let's move on to February. Okay, in February we went to Mousehole. This was done at the harbour. It was very cold that day. I do remember that. It was very cold and it just rained, so everything felt quite fresh and there was hardly anyone around. But I decided, let's try and draw all of the buildings. So that's what I tried to do in this piece. They were quite wonky, but I quite like that. And then did some more houses, more moody, atmospheric clouds, skies. This was the thatch at Lizard. And yeah, I just loved this chimney stack here. I think I was inspired by the houses here. And then we went to Pencarrow House with a couple of friends. I was there to look for snowdrops again, but it was freezing cold. It was really cold, so I just drew a couple of snowdrops, but drew the house instead. Well, focused mainly on the house instead. But again, it was freezing cold. I had my gloves and I had a seat, I think, but it was still really cold. I don't think I wore my proper outdoor trousers, so I should have worn those, and I may have been able to stay out a bit longer. And we went and had a meal in the ship inn, and it was very cosy, and I thought I'd just draw the insides of the inn. And then this was buzzards. I'd been noticing lots and lots of buzzards flying around, and thought I'd just focus on them a little and draw them. I think also I was using deep light watercolours. Friend Crixus had kindly given me some to test, so I think I was making use of them. I think I used them in here as well, just the colour palette. Talking of Crixus, we actually met up at the Daffodil Festival that was happening at Morgan Church. It happens every 2 years, and basically the church is covered in daffodils. They have about 10,000 daffodils, and so we met there to sketch. And these are, I thought it'd be easier to just make little ovals of colour and then draw on top of them. So that's what I did, and it was definitely a quicker way to capture moments. So one of the girls I teach here, Noor, she was playing the harp. It was really beautiful, actually. And so I decided to sketch her. And then there was a little bike with daffodils and then also just daffodils, candles, and then outside we did sketch a little bit outside. It was, again, quite rainy. I think it was rainy. It was damp, so the colours are a little bit more muted. This was done outside on location again. Yeah, we went to the North Cliffs and it was so windy. I did a little reel on my Instagram actually of this. We were kind of drawing perched on the side of a cliff. We were sitting in, well, we could smell it. We could smell the garlic, and that was just so overpowering. So it was quite cold. So again, that made my brushwork very fast. I used again that really thick brush, and that was perfect for this kind of environment. I used also the tinted charcoals. Again, just keeping it really simple, and also the art graph water-soluble graphite for the darker areas. So I did a couple of sketches that day. This was another sketch that I did on that day as we were walking back. Again, you can see, don't use anything else other than the tinted charcoal, and yeah, just try to keep it quite loose and free. And this was the 19th, so I think I was wanting to go out and draw again. You can see it was quite muted, the colour palette. It was on the 19th of February. That was Pelurian Cliffs. Done a really quick sketch again using the tinted charcoals and the graphite tint. It's a really nice way to work, and a great muted colour palette for this time of year. So wearing my new gloves here. And then I went the other side of the little cove valley and drew looking down from a little bench here. Again, it was quite windy. I was trying to capture the waves. Before we go on with that, also share what I was doing on my Substack. We were doing boats in February. So this was the really chaotic page warm-up page spread that we did, which was a lot of fun. Just again getting people to look at the shapes and just draw what they were seeing. And then we did a little zine. So windows, putting windows, and then drawing boats, capturing them in different ways, zooming in on areas, capturing some of the number plates, and then some classic boat shapes. It's just really fun to change up your sketchbook orientation. So that was really fun to do. And then another thing I did in that month was teach a private lesson, but I thought it was worth just sharing and talking about. We were looking at round tower churches. She wanted to look at round tower churches, and she was going to go and draw them on location and just wanted some pointers for how to draw them. So I just shared with her some different ways, ones that were a bit more creative. So this was quite a bit more dramatic interpretation. So we used like a background, and then looked at the negative space of the sky, and then drew in the details. Trying to keep it simple though as well, because remember, when you're out on location you don't often have a lot of time, and if the weather's not good then you want to just quickly get down what you're seeing. So we looked at that. We also did look at a black and white interpretation, and then again these smaller panels, which are a really nice way to capture what you're looking at. So you can see this colour palette is a little bit more traditional than this one. But yeah, that was really fun to do. Just to say, if this is something that would be of interest to you, like a one-to-one Zoom session, then I can offer that. And you'll find a link to the cost and what you get. I normally record the session so you can look at it afterwards. So yeah, that's something that, if that's of interest, do let me know. And this was at Bass Point on the Lizard. I was beginning to prepare for my art retreat, which happened not that long ago, about a couple of weeks ago now. And yeah, I recorded another Explore and Draw podcast as I was drawing this, just talking about Bass Point, looking at the textures, trying to get this moody sea, and then the lighthouse again at the top there. This was from another little walk that we did down at Cot Valley. We got absolutely drenched on this walk. You know, it was one of those days where it was sunshine, but then really, really heavy rain. So we thought we would be all right, but we got really wet. And I'll put in some footage here. You'll see in the footage how dramatic it was, but very beautiful. And this was done just at the end. That was the amazing thing. It was so windy that we'd dried off by the time we'd finished the walk. And so I was able to just do this very quick sketch, again using my water brush and the Derwent tinted charcoals. So that brings us on to March. I sketched at Killeen Cove. This was on the 5th of March. I was again looking at the rocks, and you know, so you can see this is in the distance, this is a bit closer, and then here we've got the foreground. So this was done with Neocolours. This was Neocolours. And then this one was quite a fun one, and I really like how it came out. We had a robin who found us and was just watching us. He kept hopping from branch to branch. So I sketched and Tony was just observing and trying to take pictures of him. But you can see here, yeah, I did the cliff in that darker Neocolour and then pushed back. This one is a lighter grey, and you can see that that really helps you push things into the distance. And you can see I had to add the little robin. We returned to Portreath area where I'd sketched previously and did some more sketches. This was a really windy day though, and maybe you can see that by my mark making. You can see I used a mix again of watercolours as base gouache, and then I used pencil marks as well. And I just loved this contrast here, bringing in this reddy rust colour with some twig shapes. And then this was done just later that day as I was waiting. This was our endpoint Portreath. And yeah, I didn't think this would turn out very well. I kind of chose this really weird blue for the cliff, and actually looking at it now, I'm like, oh, actually it worked. Sometimes we think certain colours wouldn't work and we've got to get the right colours all the time, but actually experiment with colours that you wouldn't normally use. And especially I think with this, I wanted to get that kind of moodiness, and I think it works well for that. On the 16th of March, I went out with my camera and I actually filmed this one, or filmed part of it. I was hoping I would get a YouTube video out actually with this one, but did not manage it, but I will put in footage. But yeah, it was a lovely day. Felt really spring-like, and there were wildflowers that were coming up. You could see primroses, celandine, though I didn't focus on it in this piece. I just wanted to see the light. I love the light on the cliffs and then the darkness. But yeah, it was a really nice morning. This was for homeschool, couple of girls that I teach. We kind of were looking at dogs and quick ways to draw dogs. Oh, and I think there were a couple of guinea pigs as well. We also did something like this as well, where I wanted to share with them more of a visual journey or a visual journal. Ask them to look at 1 week in their life and then just draw what happened during that week. Things that stood out to them, things that they remember. So this is my version. I had my meals, breakfasts, things that I liked. Oh yeah, I was doing Wonderful Wildflowers with Pauline from Scarlatte. She also has a YouTube channel. You should check her out. I'll put the link below. You can see that drawing of Patrice I've put here. I had my extra warm gloves on. Planning for spring and summer workshops, mailing out orders, sketchbook pages for Substack, filming. See, I did say I filmed. Spotting wildflowers, playing guitar. So yeah, all good things. Yeah, I'll mention about the wildflowers workshop. So I'll bring in this. This was created during the wildflower draw along with Pauline, which was done 13th of March. We collaborated on a Substack Zoom session. So we kind of did really fast drawings to begin with, and I loved this. It really inspired me, and you'll see in some of my other pieces that I'll share how they inspired me. We also then did a little bit longer time drawing exercises, which I didn't like so much, but this inspired me. I also had some flowers that someone had given me, so I was starting to draw those. But from this inspired me to do this, which I think there's a quick short on my YouTube channel. But this I filmed as a process and play and just walked through the process of creating these pages. I wanted to do something which switched off my brain and kind of just wanted to play with colour, texture, negative space. So that was really inspiring to do. And then let me show you this, done a few days later using acrylic gouache. I mean, I used acrylic gouache for this, but I was a little bit more heavy with it, and it was painted on bright pink backgrounds. I just loved the way this came out, and this now has inspired some other work, which I'll show you here. This little piece, you can see there's flowers there, and then also this piece as well, which I've been working on most recent. And I'd love to do more of this. Just really inspired at the moment to do wildflowers, especially as they're all coming up. And I was thinking I'd love to do a coastal group. So this is more of a hedgerow, but I'd love to do a coastal flower group because they're so inspiring at this time. So they're using, again, just liquid acrylic. So it's interesting, isn't it, what sparks you to create something, and you only find that out if you kind of follow that hunch and you kind of go for it. Oh, at the end of March I did this primrose, wildflower primrose, again another Explore and Draw podcast episode where I was looking for primroses and just loved finding these. They just looked so beautiful and pristine and just wanted to capture them. So I wanted to share actually another project, a book project that I've been working on as well during these months, which is another reason for why I just haven't been posting on YouTube. It's because a lot of my time that I have had, if I haven't been doing client work or Substack or sketching on location, and that is creating a book on my postcards. I did a series of postcards back in 2020, every day of the year. I wrote about it every day on my Instagram, and I had been wanting to make a book from it. So basically describing well, why I did it, and the things that I've learnt, like how did I keep going through for the 366 days, because it was a leap year, what I learnt. And then within it, I'm kind of putting tips for sketching on location, tips for drawing quickly or with a time limit. So all the cards that I created were done within 15 minutes, just using black ink. And I found it really helpful to have the restriction, because it meant that I didn't have to overthink. I wasn't trying to work out what colours and all the other stuff that kind of gets in the way. So I'm about 70% done, but I'm really excited about it, and I hope that soon I'll be able to crowdfund it and put it on pre-order, and you can order it. I hand wrote all of the numbers and the titles and the dates. That took a long time to do and input. I've also been working with a designer on it, and she's helped kind of do some of the format. So there's been a lot of work going on behind the scenes, but I hope soon I'll be able to share that work, and I'll probably dedicate a video to just that project and process. But if you are interested in knowing when that's all done, I would suggest you sign up to my Substack. It is free to sign up, but that's generally where I'll announce the launch of it. So a couple more sketches on location. This was at looking down at Godrevy Cove, and then we went to Drillisic and did a lovely woodland walk, and I saw a beautiful boat on the water and immediately thought that is something I want to sketch. So we did sketch there. I used a mix again of water-soluble pencil, I think it was Cretacolor this time, and then Neocolor on top of a pre-painted blob. It was kind of like a light green wash. It worked really well because I think the light, it was like that crisp light that you see. And that was another drawing from that day, just up right on top of the hill, and I did a very quick sketch of the boat down below. And then I was preparing quite intensely for the art retreat that happened the 22nd to the 25th of April. That was a really, really lovely time away. Before I went away though, I did an Easter process and play for my Substack people and looked at Easter motifs like lambs. And we were looking at lambs because we'd done a lamb draw along that month as well. This was the page, the manic page of lambs. And then we did some longer sketches. And then this page, which I really got inspired by, did the background way before, and then drew on top with Neocolors and Derwent drawing white, and then some lighter pencils. I think there was grey or greys and purples. But I just, that was really inspiring. Hello. As you can see, it led me on to draw this little lamb here and this bunny rabbit as well with the background. And I'll just show you quickly this in-process piece, which is quite crazy looking, but this is the spring lamb, the lamb with the spring flowers around it and background, which is yet to be finished. But I thought I'd just give you a little glimpse of what is on my desk at the moment and what is inspiring me. So done in a similar vein to the wildflowers that I showed you. So there's a little butterfly here, a bee and a snail. And yeah, this will probably look quite different when it's finished, but just wanted to show you in process shot. We had our Lizard Creative Art Retreat the 22nd to the 25th of April. Packed time together. We met on the Tuesday, had cream tea together, and then went out for a little walk around to explore the ground and just give people orientation, look at the lighthouse at Bulbule Cove. And we had a welcome evening dinner, which was prepared by Penman House. And we had our guest speaker, Robin, who writes or has written a lot of books on the lizard. And then the next day we were looking at expressive landscape textures and mark making. I'll just show you the book that we were using. So this is an octopus sketchbook. It's from C. White's of Brighton, and it has legs, octopus legs or concertina legs that come out like this. So all the participants got one of these books, and they also got another sketchbook. So I thought it was a great tool, great sketchbook to use for our time. So it's not massive, but thought it worked really well, particularly if you wanted to work in series. So like I said, we looked at expressive mark making, then simple colour palette, and kind of looked at that in the studio to begin with, and then we went out on location and did that. We had good weather, it wasn't too windy, it was a bit sunny at times. But yeah, we used a nice little art graph, water soluble pastel and a water brush, and then used a bit of Neocolour. Back at the house for lunch, and then we looked at buildings and ways to capture them creatively. So here you can see I was working on a pink background, a yellow background, blue background, green background, and just kind of talked through ways in which we could capture buildings in that way. That was really fun. And we had an evening meal at Dragullas Farm, where Rona fed us her home-cooked food and talked about the running a farm. Back in the studio, and this time we were exploring acrylic inks, looking at textures. Then we made a sketchbook using those textures. And then we drew on top of this, going back out again, looking at the flowers and the hedgerows. That was really lovely. And then back again at the studio, drawing into our drawings using liquid acrylic. And then we had some unstructured time, so they could go and do whatever they wanted. I think they went and had a cream tea, actually. Then our final evening meal was at Jimmy Chunga's, and it was just lovely. It was a chance to unwind and chat about the retreat and just have fun together. Our final day, we woke at dawn, went out for a walk from 7 in the morning until it was actually a lot longer, 8:30. I think everyone enjoyed that, just walking around, capturing some of the landscapes, a couple of landscapes, and listening to the birds. And then a final time where we had sketchbook reviews, and I talked about my sketchbook practice. We also gave feedback, peer feedback. So everyone kind of filled out post-it notes and put them on everyone's pages, which was really nice, and they can take that feedback back with them. Had our lunch, and then most people left at that point. So yeah, it was really good. A lot of work, but really, really lovely to show people the lizard and what it has to offer. We are almost up to date with where I am and what's been going on. I have one more sketchbook which I haven't shown to anyone, and is another reason why I haven't been as active on YouTube. And that is this book, where I am expecting a little baby, and I've been growing since the beginning of the year, and I am very excited. We've had quite a long journey with trying to conceive, but yeah, we were blessed with the news, found out in February, and so yeah, it was just really lovely. I think I cried and I also laughed at the same time. So this is another reason why I haven't been posting so much, because of the physical symptoms I've also been feeling during this time. Been very nauseous and also very, very tired. So particularly in the first 3 months, I've written here like foods that I've stopped eating, and then foods that I wanted to eat, things that I enjoyed eating more, food aversions. So yeah, it's been a whole new thing to get used to, and I'm now around 20 weeks, so halfway through, and I'm beginning to feel, well, I'm definitely not feeling as sick, but there are definitely changes going on that I have to get used to and work around. So it just means that sometimes I'm a bit more tired, or I don't sleep particularly well. I also find myself getting out of breath as well. So it impacts everything else, but I'm really delighted for this news, and hope that we'll be able to carry the baby till full term. And they are due at the end of September. So I wanted to share that news with you. I know some of you have been asking me, where have I been? Why aren't I posting? And this is one of the big reasons, is because I'm having a baby and just taking a lot more energy that I would have had and I've been putting it into this instead. So yeah, I'm just really thankful though. And if you've reached the end, then thank you very much for watching this catch-up video. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you are well. Thank you for your patience, and I will be posting again soon. I won't leave it so long, but I just thank you for your patience during this time, and I hope you're well, and I'll speak to you again soon. This one is Wendy's. We have Joanna, Lisa, it's amazing, and Julie. They look wonderful.